Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the BFFL Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 9th, and we will have football tomorrow. I will speak for myself, and I think some of the league members and podcast members thinking we might not have football this year, but by God, it looks like we will. I will say that my co-host Ryan Galani does have an excused absence, just moved across country back here to Pittsburgh, but I am joined today by the one and only Ryan Hartz. Or is that PFT commenter?
Reinhardt.
And our special guest today is the one, the only, Mike Mocilan.
Yeah, and we thought we were going to have this podcast maybe 2-3 weeks ago, but he bailed on us twice already. So I guess what they say, third time's a charm. Third time's a charm.
Mike, you have anything to say to that?
I think we all know that's just fake news. Didn't bail at all. Gave the pod plenty of time to find another participant. As that was illustrated in the group me a few days ago. That might have been yesterday. Hard to keep our days straight, with quarantine going on. And for some reason, Hartz is frozen on my screen, and I don't like it. But
it's all right.
There he goes. There he is.
It'll all even itself out in the end.
But, tonight we were supposed to have Ricky Galani on the pod, but apparently he's having COVID-19 symptoms, or so he says, but I think that he's just making that up. Hopefully he gets the same backlash as I got for not joining the pod. What do you have to say about that, Hartz?
Sounds like he just wasn't prepared and was a little scared to come on the podcast, and look out at him.
Well, Ricky, if you're really sick, I really hope you feel better, and by God means, if you test positive for COVID, please let us know so we can all
quarantine.
Make sure we're not gonna. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if he does have it, contact tracing will suggest we all need to teen it up. However, he did not. Just to be clear, he did not say it was COVID. He just said he was sick.
Yeah.
And if I had a team like his, I'm not sure I'd want to be on the podcast either.
Yeah, my week 1 matchup.
So I thought the draft, there's some interesting things to take away from it. First off, pretty shocking start. Don't know what you guys think about that. Saquon at 1, Geno kind of shocking the world with Lamar at 2, and Wheezy getting a gift at number 3 with CMC. I think maybe one of the only drafts
ever
in America that they had CMC go to 3. Were you guys surprised to see that?
No, I just don't know what it's going to take for Christian McCaffrey to prove to Geno that he's not a brittle white man, Like, dude's been like the best player, what was he, last year? Even the year before, he wasn't the best, but, had a pretty damn good season because I think I had him on my team. And still, dude's the best player in the fantasy football, and he still takes Lamar Jackson over him.
Yeah. And obviously if it wasn't for the change to Superflex, he likely would have taken CMC.
Probably Alvin. I think he probably took an Alvin Kamara then, that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Dreads and piercings.
It makes sense to go quarterback a little heavy because if you can have 2 solid quarterbacks in those 2 positions, your team's going to be way better. So it makes sense. But also it's a little surprising because Connor had him last year and it was the best year of his career. Probably, or I guess he's, first year, but had record-breaking career numbers last year. He'll probably never put those numbers up again.
Won't be close.
So it's kind of surprising you even, reach for him there. So I don't know.
I hope he still does good because I got Mark Andrews on my team. So looking at that, I hope he still does well. But I don't have really high hopes. I don't think he's going to repeat, and I have a lot of injury concerns with a 190-pound running quarterback. He might be heavier than that, I think. I think me and Connor had this argument last year.
When it comes to Geno, I think talent is only takes you so far when he's looking to pick someone. I think the most important thing is swag. So when you compare some of the players available there, I think that Geno determined Lamar had the most swag available, so that informed his pick.
Yeah, it usually works out for him. He usually does pretty good. His team was good last year, and
yeah. I hate to say it, although this year I'm not so sure it's going to work out for him. Another interesting thing, despite a QB going at 2 and 5, we only had 4 quarterbacks go in the first 2 rounds, 2 of which drafted by yours truly. I was pretty shocked. I'm not necessarily surprised that there were only 2 in the first round, but I thought for sure we'd probably have, closer to 5 or 6 off the board, maybe even 7 off the board after 2 rounds. I think overall, despite the move to Superflex, QBs, people weren't grabbing them with those top picks. I don't know if you guys got that same feeling that, people were. I don't know if they were worried about. I thought I was going to start a run when I picked Kyler, but I didn't at all.
I wasn't.
Separate. There's really only 4 that really separate themselves and put up way more numbers than the other ones that they make sense to draft early. So if it didn't start a run, it makes sense that everyone just waits until someone else starts the run again.
Was that your plan all along, Doyle, or that just kind of what fell to you? Or
yeah, that was pretty much my plan. I mean, if someone took Kyler before me, I was going to go just like best player available, maybe like hopefully a running back, but just so happened that I got 2 of what I consider the 3 best QBs for this year. So I just couldn't pass it up.
My plan all along was going for the quarterbacks I thought had the highest potential of having a better year this year than they had last year, and Josh Allen and Daniel Jones. I figure you're not going to wait on those guys, and I'm thinking. I mean, Josh Allen was the 6th best quarterback last year, which that's pretty damn good. But I really, for some reason, I'm very high on Daniel Jones this year. It might come back and bite me in the ass, but
let's hold off on talking about that till when we talk about your team, because I think that was a nice strategy as well. One other thing I have to say that happened in the draft, and Galani, he loves. I'm so sad he's not here to defend himself, but he loves to be the smartest guy in the room. He's always the smartest guy in the room, and then he goes and picks a team defense in round 7. I mean, that's such a noob move. I mean, anyone who picks a defense before the last 2 rounds really should be embarrassed. And actually, Moch, you did as well, but not till round 11. So you're not as big a noob, but only kind of a noob.
Is that what it was, around 11?
Yeah.
That's pretty good for me, actually. I think I'm usually in like 9 or 10 with defense special teams, and I still got a hell of a good one now. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Well, the thing with team defense is, you never know. There's really not much consistency year to year.
I know. I took the Bears last year real early because they were top before that, and they weren't very good.
I remember that.
But yeah.
So
ESP go for the Steelers there. I mean, Steelers had a great year last year, but you just never know year after year, like you said. And
I mean, I think they'll be great, but we're talking round 7. I mean, let's look at some of the other players that went. I got my second starting running back in Raheem Mostert in round 7 after he picked the Steelers. Right. Tyler Boyd went in round 7. Kareem Hunt.
It's a bad pick.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
And this season's going to be so fluky in the first probably 2 or 3 weeks because none of these teams have gone through preseason. They're all going to be nervous. There's no fans. With all this COVID shit going on, we see it in baseball. It's fluky. Like who knows? Like it's like going to be a crapshoot the first 2 to 3 weeks here.
Right.
Yeah,
they're probably
who knows what's going to happen.
Put up big points first 2 weeks because everyone's just like all rowdy and they're making interceptions and shit. And Galani will be tooting his horn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think anything's possible in the Steelers-Giants first week matchup.
And I'll be crying about when no one will trade him for the Steelers defense, or the best defense ever. How come no one will ever make a trade with me?
Yeah, it sucks he's not on this because I feel like he has a lot to get off his chest. Would have made for great content for this.
Oh yeah. Maybe
next time.
Hopefully he'll be back next week. So ESPN, this thing debuted last year. I'm not really sure how legit it is, but every day it kind of moves, and they basically rank what they project the teams will finish at. So we're going to go through each team, starting at the bottom with who ESPN projects is going to be in last place, and then move all the way up to first place. And believe it or not, the most decorated BFFLer of all time is projected in last place, oozing machismo, Ryan Honhart. Guys, any preliminary thoughts on that squad? I think that clearly his wide receiver corps is amazing.
I think he's a has-been. I mean, we talk about how decorated he is, but I mean, let's talk about it. How long has it been since he's won a championship? honestly.
I
Do we have
think
the last date of when he has won?
I think what
2014, 15? Like
Takes
we're
of the
talking like 4 or 5 years ago.
every single episode. So
I don't know. But so we're gonna go ahead and review his team, right?
Yeah. So I mean, to me, it's clearly his strength is the wide receiver core. It's a shame. I don't think he paid attention to the rule changes because you can only start 2, but he has Tyreek, he has Devontae Adams, he has DJ Moore, Metcalf, and Stephon Diggs.
He's got 3 number 1 receivers on his bench.
Yeah, and he's likely gonna be able to use those as trade bait, and God knows he's gonna need to. I'm not. I mean, look at his running backs. I mean, he's just banking on these rookie running backs coming in.
I'm sure he's gonna scam his brother-in-law into something.
I feel like
you only know that's probably his plan.
I feel like since we have one less position because we didn't put a flex in there, and we only have the quarterback flex thing that we have there. That players. You know what I mean? Like last year,
you really don't.
Searching and you're sometimes you need to scour the waiver wire to get a good flex start. This year you don't have that because you just play a quarterback at your other 2 positions. Like it's such a weird thing, and I didn't really realize that going into the draft. I'm not completely happy with my draft because of that. I feel like if we had an extra flex, my team would be way better than it is, but we just don't.
You're all about that flex, Hartz.
Yeah.
Making that last move on Sunday.
With his running backs, I mean, Cam Akers, all signs point to him being a starter, but
right.
I mean,
good.
He's not the only person in the league that did this, but I mean, he has a guy in his RB2 slot, a starter, and Zach Moss that doesn't even necessarily have that job yet, and
he will. There's been a lot of talk that he's going to be taking that. I mean, it's going to be classic Connie team. We're talking mad shit right now, before the season starts, and it's just going to he'll end up making the playoffs somehow and, going on a run like every year. But
it's hard to do with no running backs.
They always say, all the teams that win in this league make like a savvy trade at one point. And I think he's going to be the one who's going to need to do that because, as we'll get into, not every team is as stacked in wide receiver.
He's pretty stacked there, man.
Yeah, he really is. He really is.
His quarterbacks, I mean, can we talk about that? I mean, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins. I mean,
I mean, I
not
just
great, but consistent. I mean, they'll probably be okay.
Stafford, they're gonna throw the ball a lot. They're probably not gonna be
at least he's got his boy. For once.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, I think definitely. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel for your second quarterback, but
I mean, apparently, that might be the move because as we found out yesterday, or I found out, is that my quarterbacks are on a bye week the same week. So you got 2 waivers. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna drop. I really think I'm just gonna take the loss. I mean, hopefully my record is good going into that week, and I can just accept the loss. I mean, I don't know.
Hopefully the picture's a little clearer for you. I mean, maybe maybe something will change because who knows, someone gets hurt or something. So at
4 bad weeks in a row, and then you just need to play. You need to switch it up. Go the way
Daniel Jones ends up sucking, which is possible because his first 4 weeks are really tough matchups. Like he's got the Steelers, the 49ers, the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Not ideal matchups there.
You might be able to drop him, play the waiver wire, and then after his bad 4 weeks,
Then let you pick him up when he starts dropping 40 point, down the line for the playoffs.
You got to know timing.
How about this number 11, King of Hearts, Ryan Hartz, the defending champ. I noticed he's
draft as always
already in desperation mode with his quarterback situation, making some waiver wire moves this morning. Hartz, how would you characterize your draft? Do you feel good going into the season?
That's it. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't love it. I don't hate it. The championship, the Squirrels not won in the draft. It's certainly lost.
As he's proved.
That I lost it. So, we'll do our little thing throughout the season. Pay attention. Watch what happens. And, we'll go from there.
Hartz is a perennial bad drafter. He never drafts well. but somehow just makes it happen. Very sly on the waiver wire.
Yeah, and I will say I like the wide receivers. The running backs are good, although I think the Hunt extension gives you, maybe caps the ceiling of Nick Chubb, makes you a little nervous. But luckily, he's got a very deep bench. He's got a lot of options there, and I think if he needs to plug and play, he should be in good shape.
That's why
like Nick Chubb.
Flex position that I feel like my team would be better because it is deep, and there's some people to throw in there. Like I feel like I would have, if we added a flex on top of this quarterback flex, that I think that I would have, some of the better flex options. But
love Robert Woods.
I love
Robert Woods is gonna have a big year because they got rid of what's his name?
I'm trying to pick him up in one.
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, yeah, that opens up doors for him and Cooper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate with Nick Chubb. I think the dude's could be one of the most talented running backs in the league, but I don't know. Kareem Hunt.
I think he's one of the best, just pure running backs in the league for sure.
He really is. It's like 240 pounds, and he runs like a 4.40. It's crazy.
Yeah, and coming in at number 10, Sunday Magic Show. That's Pat Mahar. Kind of a typical head scratching Pat team. So he's super strong at wide receiver. He's got Fast Mike and Nuke. And he also has Keenan Allen and Tyler Boyd on the bench. But he's putting a lot of faith in the Tampa Bay Tom Brady Buccaneers. He's got Tom Terrific. He's got Gronk. He's got Fournette. They're all looking for the fountain of youth.
You know what? I love it. I think that's going to be great for him. I really do. I do.
Really do.
Dude, Tom and Rob are like, Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz. They're butt buddies. Like, that's going to be a great tandem there. Tom's going to find Gronk and Fournette. Tom, even his Patriot days, they love to pound the rock, and that's why they got Fournette. They're going to pound the rock with Fournette, man.
Well, Fournette better be good because he's got Kerryon Johnson as RB2, who's firmly entrenched in a running back by committee.
I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a very slow start just because
obviously
slow. But I do think that he will turn it on. So I think he is kind of a guy to target early, try to get him. But the thing is that he doesn't have. I don't think he has what it takes to win the first couple weeks, and he's going to be in a big hole.
Strangely, he has 3 tight ends on his roster.
You really? I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Trade bait Mayer.
Yep. He's always drafting half for his team, half for trade bait.
I love it.
Trade bait, baby.
Dude's the worst. Like, I don't get it. It just works out for him somehow. Like,
Yep. This is, basically any preseason projections that we're gonna have, since we're not professionals, are colored by our own biases and stuff. This could be a playoff team, definitely. I mean, do I think, just based on my opinion, that it's going to be? No, but you could easily see things breaking right for this team.
Yeah, I could agree.
Coming in at number 9, vote him out, Kevin Noon. Despite being Superflex's biggest fan, he took a huge gamble with his quarterbacks. I'm just not really a huge fan of this draft for Noon. The wide receivers are great, Julio and Golladay, but he drafted Le'Veon Bell. I love Joe Burrow as much as anyone, but he's going in there with Burrow and Tannehill. It just seems like a lot of question marks up and down his starting lineup here.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, he's going to need, this is going to be a season where he's going to get used to the NFL. I really don't think he's going to, put up crazy numbers this year. I could be completely wrong, but.
And you know what he said? During the draft? He said he can't wait until the QBs that he drafted really late are as good as the QBs everyone else drafted early. And I thought that was a pretty bold take.
I mean, he might throw the ball maybe 3 or 4 times a game.
Yeah.
Well, in his defense, I think Burrow's got some nice weapons there. AJ Green's healthy. Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, you never
obviously, the running back situation's good.
Big fan, AJ.
Joe Burrow could be the next coming of Patty Mahomes for all we know.
I mean,
never know.
He was even better than him in college, so
it's very true.
Yeah, it's I mean, Noon always is pretty bold. He's always kind of, he hasn't really been a winner in this league, but he at least keeps it interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah, he always hangs right at that mediocre level. That's about it. But,
yeah.
I mean, Saquon and his wide receivers can really carry him. I mean, it could work out.
That's
Zach
true.
Ertz is solid. Yeah. I don't know about those QBs though.
Yeah.
So at 8 in the projections, we have a zip and a double cup. That is Ricky Galani. Really like the solid draft for Ricky.
Yeah, what position are we at? Did you say 8?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, his team's a lot better than 8. I don't know what.
He's got Russ Wilson, Ben at quarterback. Obviously, a gamble when you're coming, counting on Big Ben to be healthy, but he could easily also be, a top 6-7 quarterback.
I think he's ready to go.
I mean, he got Henry and Eckler, super solid. He's got OBJ and Cooper Kupp. The tight end sleeper, Chris Herndon, he's getting a ton of hype. I like Ricky's team, man. As always, really, he's good at drafting. It's kind of how his team executes for him that leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, he took quite a few guys before I was going to take him. I remember in the draft.
I really hate being in Ricky and Wheezy's division. They always, especially Ricky, like you said, he always is solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his team is solid. Like, look at his bench. His bench is Mark Ingram, Marvin Jones, Phillip Lindsay, John Brown. Like, you kidding? Those are better. Those 4 right there are better than some, a lot of the starters and some of these other teams starting.
That's true.
I mean, it's gonna be a battle. I played him the first week, and I'm projected to get a little more points than him, but it's gonna be a battle.
Sure is.
Yeah, nice.
I hate OBJ. That's the only. That's the only thing I don't like about his lineup is Odell. Like,
yeah, the prevailing thought is that OBJ was hurt last year, and that's why they
feeling.
Double M or someone I saw on Twitter the other day something that was great. It was like it pointed out like the Browns have Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, Myles Garrett, and who's the fourth one? The fourth guy is like teams filled with a bunch of assholes. That's that's all they are. Like it's just a genuine asshole filled star lineup.
Well, Myles Garrett seemed like a pretty stand-up guy until he accused Mason Rudolph of being a closet racist, and I have I have family Browns fans now. Actually, Alicia's brother-in-law, and he has a conspiracy theory, one of many, about the Steelers, and he thinks it's very suspicious that NFL has like audio and video of everything that's ever happened on the football field, but there's no audio of that moment when he supposedly said a racial slur to Myles Garrett.
It is a little weird.
He does have a point.
He does, but I just
I don't. But at the end of the day, I don't think that happens.
I don't know how you're dropping that word when you play on a team full of African Americans and the league's 80%, whatever it is. How high percentage of African Americans in the league. You're not just dropping that word.
It just seems like it would. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it would. If he said that word, then his own team would turn on him.
Yeah, there'd be red flags. Like Mike Tomlin and some of the other guys would be like, it's a possibility. But they're 100% backing him. So.
Yeah.
And you see in the news recently that he's still claiming it. Like there was an article written today. That he's still he wants to sit down and talk to Mason. Like, move on, man. Like,
might as well.
You're wrong or something. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway,
so at Team 7 we have one of my favorite BFFL players, Team Gaudy, Ryan Gaudy. He needs to think of a name there. That's pretty boring. I mean, I think this is a pretty good team, although I think he does need some things to break right for him.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan is a great pick. Aaron Rodgers will be a serviceable second quarterback. He's got Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones. Should be good. And then he's got a pretty deep bench with Melvin Gordon and Kareem Hunt. He's just counting on one of those rookie wide receivers to turn into a weekly starter. He's got CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, but I think this is a pretty solid team, but I think it might be a controversial team just because I know a lot of people are down on Rodgers. A lot of people think Aaron Jones is going to fall off a cliff. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are.
Well, he's already desperate at wide receiver. I know that for a fact because he texted me last night, already looking to make a trade at wide receiver. Trying to get one of my young studs that I think are going to be good. So he's trying to get Ruggs or Claypool or one of those guys off my bench.
He wants more rookies, huh?
Yeah.
Weird.
And I told him I like my bench guys better than his. Well, I think Henry Ruggs is going to be better than CeeDee Lamb, and Jerry Jeudy. But classic Gotti. He wants something, but he doesn't really offer much in the trade.
Right.
Like, you tell he's scheming just like Hartz.
And in my opinion, I am high on those rookies he has. I think they're both in really good situations. And
that's what I explained to him. I mean, but I don't think they're in good situations though. You look at CD. If Amari's going to be healthy, they got him and Gallup ahead of him. That's going to be tough. Target share there, and then Judy's got Cortland Sutton. Who's the other guy they drafted from Penn State? Hamler or whatever. There's a bunch of weapons surrounding those guys. I just don't think they're going to have as good an opportunity as like Henry Ruggs, where Ruggs might be like their number one receiver. Honestly,
it's true.
So
yeah, we'll see how things break.
You never know.
I spoiler alert. I am going to be projecting Team Gotti for a playoff spot.
Interesting.
At number 6, so now we're entering teams that ESPN projects will make the playoffs. And honestly, there's some head scratchers here amongst these playoff teams for ESPN. We're going to start with Team Greg at number 6. Absolutely hate the quarterbacks, Wentz and Goff. I mean, Wentz has not lived up to the hype for the past few years. He's always either hurt, inconsistent. His weapons are a big question mark. And Goff is, I think he is who he is at this point. Running backs are pretty sweet though.
I like the running backs. I'm not a fan of the wide receivers, except for I do like DJ Chark.
Yeah, I think Chark might be his best receiver, honestly.
Yeah, so he's got Kamara and Mixon. He's got Ridley and Allen Robinson. Pretty solid. And then he's got Waller at tight end, so he has solid skill positions. But the quarterbacks, I just think, are a question mark.
Right, his core is pretty good actually, and if we had that extra flex instead of the quarterback one, I think his team would be a lot better as well. I just think that second quarterback having Goff has really thrown him off.
I think you guys are being a little harsh on Wentz and Goff, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah. I think Wentz could be solid. I mean, they got some weapons for him now. They got Rieger and I don't know, Miles. I just think I always liked Wentz. I really did. I always thought he had a down year last year because I think they were lacking in supporting cast around him, and I think Jared Goff has he has a ton of weapons around him too.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you guys aren't giving them enough credit. I mean, they're not great. It's not great for sure. But I think it's better than like Hartz quarterbacks and Noon's quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah.
Probably better than my quarterbacks for all we know. I don't know.
Definitely better than yours. Probably better than mine as well, actually.
Yeah.
So number 5, we have Mary Doyal, yours truly. Obviously the strongest QB duo, which is really, I feel like, puts me at a nice advantage. I lucked out, really. I lucked out. I should be worse off than I was. I didn't get my second running back till round 7, but for some reason Mostert fell, and I was able to still get a starter.
Great pick.
The running backs are the biggest concern, obviously, with James Conner, but I like the wide receivers with Godwin and McLaurin. Scary Terry.
I hate to do it to you here because I know I gave you a lot of shit during the draft, and that was just me being hammered and just being me. I have to give you shit regardless, but got to give you a ton of credit right now. Just very blown away by how good you were still able to draft after taking 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. like it's impressive. I mean, you got James Connors. I think it's gonna be a great pick. If James returns to his Pro Bowl form, was that his rookie year, rookie year?
Yeah, his first 2 years he was great.
If he stays healthy, it's a great. Like could be a top 10 running back right there. Mostert was great last year. In that system, he's gonna be solid. Love Godwin. Love Scary Terry, man.
Like
Scary Terry with I think he's gonna have an even better year because now they got what's his name? Haskins coming in his second year and different coaching staff. Love that pick.
Yep.
I took Scary Terry in my other league. Evan Ingram, a lot of people hate on Ingram, but I mean,
picked up Ingram right before I was about to pick him up.
I had him last year too. When he actually can stay on the field, he's great, but he can never stay healthy.
I mean, love your starters. I think it's a great lineup for the starting. Your depth might be questionable. You might be hurting if you get some injuries. You really got
Well, I like Devontae on the bench. If I lose a wide receiver, should be fine. But really punching the gut with that Adrian Peterson in Detroit news. Really kind of DeAndre Swift is gets a big knock down a little bit from that. So.
I don't know, man. I love Swift though. He might be their guy. I don't know how that's gonna play out. Hani probably has a better understanding of that, but it seems like they're high on Swift. I always have been.
Bring in AP if you're not going to use them. So.
Right, exactly.
Hartz knows all too well about Devontae Parker. Freaking brought the dude a squirrel, for God's sake.
Yep, I think he's nice to have on the bench. We'll see if he can get back to that magic. At number 4 here. We have idiot number 7, Moch.
Need to get a new team name there. I'm working on it.
Moch, you took some gambles here, and
quite honestly, right?
I think it can go a number of ways. Namely, to me, I know everyone's really high on CEH, but he is a rookie. He didn't have any preseason. He didn't have much of a training camp.
I know.
And then Deontay as your wide receiver too. I mean, but then again. Nitpicking a little bit because I think, as far as waiting on quarterback, you did it absolutely right with Allen and Daniel Jones. Plus, absolutely love your tight end. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the best tight end. Ended the season TE1. I mean, honestly, Mark Andrews is such a stud. I wrote a note here. You could tell me that this is a top 3 team, or you could tell me that this team didn't make the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's just It's an electric team that I think will be fun.
Yeah, that's kind of the notion I was going there with. That's how I always go. Like I always go with guys that could have a high ceiling, but also could have a really low floor. Like I Deontay Johnson. Like I think he could be the next AB. That's like the feeling I have for him. That's why I took him. And I like Allen and Jones just because they're versatile. I think they can run, they can throw. We'll see. Should be interesting. It's not my.
For sure.
I don't know.
I don't think, but if a few things, if the dice roll your way, could be all right.
Yeah, but we all know how that goes. Usually roll my way.
You're projected to be the 4th best team, so I mean, clearly you've done something right in the eyes of the all-knowing ESPN algorithm.
Matthew Berry. It's because I listen too much to Matthew Berry. That's the problem.
So at number 3, and I mean, I might be getting harder on the teams as we go down, but at number 3 we have Steam Live with that dog Geno Seneca. Obviously, we talked about he shocked the world, took Lamar 2nd overall, and got to say, I just don't understand these projections because this team is just question mark city all up and down the lineup. Okay, he's got Gurley. Gurley is king question mark. Singletary.
This is Doyle's rival sidekick. He hates to give him credit. That's the problem.
No, I do. He's my rival. But I will say, question mark. Gurley, question mark. Singletary. Everyone says he's going to lose his job. Cortland Sutton is his wide receiver 1. I mean, at least he has Kelsey, but then Garoppolo's is in a super flex spot. I just don't see this as one of the top teams. I don't see this as a playoff team. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong about Gurley. I think Gurley's going to be really good just because they're not paying him a lot of money like they were in LA. I think they're going to run him off the tracks. I think they're going to just run him into the ground until his knee falls off. So I think that'll be a good play there. Singletary, I think he'll be okay. Don't like Sutton. Don't like Marquise Brown. I think he's boom or bust. I've had him. And don't like Garoppolo because they run the ball a lot. But everything else should be okay.
Yeah.
Don't think he's a top 30 team, though. I do agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know where they're going with that one.
I mean, at least he has Kelsey. I mean, he's got that advantage over everyone.
Yeah. Love Kelsey. A lot of swag for a white boy.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it swag with his stupid dating show that he had. Yeah, I mean, I would say
what
was
that show called again?
Catching Kelsey. I mean, just comparing Steam with all the teams that are ranked below him. I like your team better than his. I like my team better than his. Like I like Andrews. I like Gotti's. So I mean, hey, I God bless you, Gino. Somehow, you draft the way you draft, and then you end up making the playoffs and making a run. So I mean, we'll see if you can't make it happen. But
congrats, you tricked ESPN.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
At number 2 here, actually, he was ranked number 7 yesterday, and then he made a desperation waiver wire move for a second quarterback. Return of the phallus, Ryan Galani. I will say this might be I want to kill myself right now because I'm about to say this. This is probably my favorite team. This is my favorite team top to bottom.
No.
I think he's a very good draft. He's solid all over. He's got Watson and Rivers at quarterback. He's got Zeke and Chris Carson at running back, which is solid, very solid. He's got Juju and Amari at wide receiver, Ebron at tight end. He's got T.Y. Hilton, Brandon Cooks on his bench. I mean, top to bottom, this is a fucking good team. Even if Juju or Amari don't live up to the hype, I mean, he's got proven guys on his bench. And you know what? I was FaceTiming him during the draft, and he was like packing while he was doing it. I don't know how he did it, but I think he had a good draft, and I would love for you to tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't overthink it this year,
I don't know.
I agree.
I like Deshaun. I like Zeke. Chris Carson's coming off hip surgery. Don't know how that's going to be. Juju, I think question mark. Mari's got plantar fascia, hurt hamstring. Oh, yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think Amari actually did fall pretty far in the draft. I think he was like kind of a falling knife there that no one wanted to catch. I'm not too familiar with his injury concerns, and I know he is pretty boom or bust as well.
I think this comes down to the whole Galani luck thing. I think this could be good if this was like a Hartz team. But the fact that this is a Galani team, Mark Cooper will be on the IR. Juju will probably choose TikTok over the NFL at some point.
Yeah, something crazy will happen. Yep.
I love you, Galani. I miss you, buddy.
Zeke will get arrested. Yeah.
Something crazy will happen. That is for sure.
Yeah, something crazy is going to happen to this team. You just know it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm surprised that Rivers took him from 7 to 2. I mean,
makes no sense.
But I mean, it is what it is. I do think he has one of the better teams, I think the league's better when Galani's competitive. Although I don't really like seeing him win. I hope he's competitive, but maybe just loses in the first round. Coming in at the number 1 team, and this has not changed since we drafted on Saturday, Team Weeze. And obviously he's got strength at running back, CMC and Kenyon Drake. But beyond that, not really sure how he is the clear runaway number 1.
I love Cam Newton this year. Love him. I think he's just going to come out and just light the world on fire. He's out to try to prove. I think he's just going to kill it this year, to be honest with you. But
possibly. Yeah.
I don't know. Christian McCaffrey makes a huge difference. That dude puts up so many points that, I mean, it makes sense that his team's highly ranked. Number 1, I'm not sure about number 1, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just look at some of his. I think Will Fuller. I mean, when he plays, he's unbelievable.
Right.
I mean,
he's our number 1 guy this year.
Yeah, but at wide receiver 2, that's a gamble. Luckily, he does have a deep bench. He's got Jonathan Taylor. He's got Jarvis Landry. He's got Sterling Shepard. So, he doesn't necessarily need Will Fuller to work out. But, Minshew with the second quarter. I think it's a good team. I think it's a playoff team. but I just don't think it's the clear number one that it has been so far the last 5 days or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very harsh right now when I say all these things, but like I just don't see Cam Newton staying healthy. I think Chase Edmonds is gonna take over Kenyon Drake, but he has Chase Edmonds, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
I just don't really think
ever healthy. I don't know.
I don't really. I'm not sure about New England's weapons. I mean,
They got no one. No one.
I know everyone wants to. Everyone's hyping him up a lot, and I mean, I think it's a fine. If you're waiting on quarterback, that's a fine pick. But I think he's going to be, top 10, maybe.
I think that he has the ability to use his legs, and with him not having, the amazing supporting cast, he never has really. So he can do it with his legs, and then I also think that they'll be able to scheme something.
So I don't know.
So yeah, I mean he used to do it with his legs, and I don't know how much of it was scheme or whatever in Carolina, but he's 31 now.
31 years old. 31 years old.
Yeah, he'll still be able to move.
A lot of injuries in the past. A very strict coach. Won't like Cam's antics. I don't think Cam's gonna be a starter halfway through the season.
Wow. That's a hot take.
My bold prediction will be
Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham will be taking over quarterback in New England at some point. That's my hot take for the pod.
I'll take that bet.
Guarantee it. They're gonna realize, Cam's just he's washed. He's 31. Stid's their future, or maybe someone else.
If it's not injury, I'll take that bet. $20.
Wait, you want to bet $20 on what? That it's not going to happen, or it will happen?
The starting position from Cam.
You think it will?
Hey,
you can't take injury out of that bet. That's not fair.
All right. Well, then I don't want that bet.
I'm not saying injury. I think it's going to be performance related. I don't think.
You don't think it's performance?
I think it's going to be performance. I don't think Cam's going to be good enough. And Belichick's going to be like, "You're out. You're done."
That's the bet I want to take. Connor, tap your face. I think it'll lighten it up.
No, it's dark out here. That's all.
He's fine.
But so anyway. let's go through the week 1 matchups and do our predictions here. The first matchup is Andrew versus myself. I am slightly favored by less than a point. I think it's obvious here. I think I'm going to win. What's your guys' prediction there?
Let me see. Let me pull it up again. Sorry.
I mean, I guess we could take a look at matchups here and make a little bit more of an informed decision than I just tried to make.
He's got better matchups, I think. A little bit better. But if I had to go with I have to go with you, just based off talent.
I mean, don't just tell me what I want to hear because you're on the pod.
No, I would never do that.
I'd take Andrew.
I love that.
Let's give it how it is.
See who gets the most right.
Well, I mean, I Mahomes versus Houston, Connor at New York, Godwin at New Orleans. That'll be a shootout.
Yeah.
McLaurin versus Phil. I mean, I don't dislike these matchups. I mean, Kyler Murray at San Francisco is kind of tough, but
yeah, that's probably your only yeah. And Ingram and Murray got the toughest matchups probably. So I'm going with you, man. I'm just trying to give you what you want to hear. I think you'll probably win.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think
right,
you got it, but you never know.
I think you got a quarterback.
Our second matchup here, we got Galani against Gotti. Galani is a significant favorite, actually, over 6-point favorite, which is pretty shocking. I'm taking a look here. I mean, I think I do like Galani just because of Gotti's question mark in that wide receiver 2 spot. We really don't know what we're going to see from CeeDee Lamb. Rodgers in Minnesota, kind of a tough matchup. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Galani in this one.
My computer's getting slow.
Galani Gotti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think you had to go with Galani in that matchup. Projection
poor
says.
Gotti. I think he might be in the basement this year. Sorry, TD. I love you, buddy, but
He's usually not very good at fantasy.
Mike Evans is already hurt.
He's only had one good year. I play with him in another league, and he's not very good in that league either.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that one year was just a one in a million fluke. That's why he was so dominant. We have another rivalry matchup here. Nooner against Gino. Gino is a 5-point favorite, and quite honestly, I'm not really sure about that.
Not sure why. Yeah,
I think I actually like Noon here. But then again, looking at the matchup, the matchups are pretty tough.
The quarterback position is going to be decided in a lot of weeks, and it's just hard to. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Nooner's got tough matchups. I mean,
you're playing two quarterbacks, so.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gino takes it pretty handedly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gino just based on I think he has more favorable matchups.
Yeah.
Then we got Moch is a 4-point favorite over Ricky.
I don't know. Gonna be a battle. I mean, I think it honestly is gonna come down to tomorrow night. Like, I think it depends if Edwards-Helaire, is what everyone thinks he's gonna do, and he puts up 20 plus. I think I'll be in good shape. But if he doesn't, then I think that's gonna honestly be the.
Yeah, or I hope it comes down to Monday night because it'll be he's got Big Ben and you've got Daniel Jones. Right. That could be fun.
That sucks, man. Like, it sucks. Like, I can't be. I know I gotta hope for like a 45-38 shootout Steelers W or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
in a couple weeks when he's got 3 down weeks, he's about to pop off.
Quite honestly, I am going to go with Rick in this matchup. Although I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I just don't think. I hope the Steelers aren't sleeping on the Giants. That's all I know because I think they're better, especially offensively, than people give them credit for.
Don't worry. The Steelers never ever underestimate their opponent.
Seems like a team they'll sleep on. Yeah.
Their defense is probably pretty terrible, but offensively they got some weapons.
And by far the lowest scoring projection game of the week, we have Hani, who's a 2-point underdog against Mahar. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mahar here. I
think Hani's team's going to take a few weeks to get going just because, like we talked about earlier, Zach Moss and Cam Akers, they don't have their job yet.
Right. It's going to be tough.
Solidify their positions. Hani's team, it's going to be a classic, probably like Hani 0-5 start, makes the playoffs still at like 7-5, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I give it to Mahar as well.
Yeah, got to go Mahar.
And this is the biggest spread, a 10-point spread. We got Wheezy, a huge favorite over Ryan Hartz.
Yikes.
Wait, I thought we were doing Greg Doyle. All right.
I thought we already did his.
We already did that one. Wake up.
The first one.
Well, he took my Cam Newton. I wanted Cam Newton, but.
Yeah, I mean.
But I see this one ending in his favor. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a ton separating the teams, but
I think there's one big separation.
Yeah, CMC.
Nah.
Yeah.
Hartz lock.
Oh.
You can never take that out of consideration.
Yeah.
It has certainly not put into these projections.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Corey. I'm going to go with Corey to win that one.
Yeah.
I'm going with Hartz luck, boys.
Good on you.
Hartz luck, ride or die. Sorry, Wheezy.
I don't really love the Mocilan jinx, but I like it. Yeah. I don't think
That's right.
Ever
That's right.
Correctly in life, so this is not good for me.
Sucks for you, Hartz.
All right, so we went through each team. We gave our likes and dislikes. We went through our week 1 predictions. Are any of you at all interested in giving playoff predictions? Because I've written down 6 teams that I think are going to make the playoffs, and And they go as follows. I think I am making the playoffs without, beyond the shadow of a doubt. I have a top 3 team.
I agree.
Return of the Phallus, Team Wheeze, Team Greg, Idiot number 7 Moch, a Zip and a Double Cup, and Team Gaudy. Those are my 6 playoff teams.
Gaudy.
Honestly, I went back and forth between Gaudy and Hartz, but I just couldn't sit here on this podcast and tell Hartz he was a playoff team, so I went with Gaudy.
It's very rare that I miss the playoffs, so you got to put me in there. But yeah, I don't hate your picks.
You didn't put Ricky in there, did you?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did.
I don't even really have to look at the teams, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what the playoff teams are going to be. So
that's just silly.
No, that's how it works. It's mainly the owner. It's not really the team. It happens every year. Connor misses the playoffs barely. Mocilan makes it, loses first round.
Wow. I can't believe you just gave me that credit.
Year, but usually he makes it. He's going to miss this year. Galani makes it. Mocilan makes it. Honhart makes it. Mahar misses this year.
Okay.
And that's that.
I'm dumber for having listened to that. Mocilan, what's your opinion?
So I'm going with the best division in Brosuv Fantasy by far, and this will always be the case, I think, is my division. I think all 3 make the playoffs.
Wow, that would be a shock.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, all 3 of us have solid teams. I go with those 3, Doyal. And after that, it's a crapshoot. I guess I gotta go Galani. I really do. I think you're right about Galani's team. So we got 5, so that's 1 more. Man, I guess one team's got to go out of the PSU division. So out of that team, I'm gonna go. I guess Andrew. Got to go Andrew because I think he's the best team in that division. Honestly,
yep. That
division is whack though. Huh? The PSU division.
Yeah, Moch, I agree with you. Your division is super strong this year, and I don't think it's really mathematically very likely for 3 teams to make it, or else I would have put them all in as well.
But I mean, it could happen though, right? Like technically, could it happen? Right? Could it happen though? For real?
Yeah.
No.
You guys play each other, 6 times, so it's
probably not likely.
You'd have to do really well. Everyone would have to do really well outside the division.
And that's my biggest argument about the divisions we do, because I don't think there's one team in that PSU division that deserves to make the playoffs, and you're telling me one of someone in my division is not going to make it. That's
the season.
That's why we play the game. That's why we play the game.
The season is not won in the draft. It doesn't matter who you drafted.
Yeah.
All right. So
game 1 hits and people were playing and Edwards-Helaire's on the bench and doesn't even get to play. Like, you don't even know. We don't even know yet. Yeah. We don't even know. Edwards-Helaire's going to play, but you know what I mean? You don't know that.
I don't know. Regardless, we got football. We got football back boys coming, and hopefully it works out. Hope there's no backfalls with this COVID shit.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes off without a hitch. But
baseball, those little hiccup, and they survive. So it's positive.
Yeah. And I definitely felt like all summer, like football was a long shot, but it seems like baseball, has righted the course, and I just hope that we're getting a little momentum here, and hopefully it goes without a hitch. And hell, I think the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl. So let's rock.
When baseball had that little hiccup thing, I was pretty worried. But now that they're past that and they're back in, everything's going smooth.
They have like. I was too, but then I read with them and NFL, they got contingency plans. Like they know it's going to happen. Like they know the worst case scenario and they got a plan for it. So I think we'll be all right.
Players and the game.
There's nothing like sitting on your couch listening to Tanny Romo and Jim Nance. God, I can't wait, man.
Yep.
Can't wait.
See you on Thursday.
I don't know who is it the NBC crew or CBS? I can't remember. I think it fluctuates. Or last year it might have been NBC, so it might be Collinsworth and Al Michaels, which they're great too. They're both great. But thank God we got what's the Monday night crew now? It's Lewis Riddick. They got rid of all those jagoffs that were on it last year. got like
They
Lewis
they
Riddick
bring
now.
Dennis Leary back.
No, who is it now?
It's Joe. Oh,
Look up to see who the Monday Night Crew is now, other than Lewis Riddick. I can't remember who that.
Thursday's Joe Buck and Tony Aikman.
It's on Fox. Yeah, it's the Fox.
It's
That's the Fox Crew.
Steve Levy, Lewis Riddick, and Brian Greasy.
There you go. I don't know about Steve Levy, but I can handle him.
I always liked Steve Levy. He used to call hockey back in the day when ESPN still had hockey. Right. So we're almost at an hour, so I just wanted to give some final thoughts, and my final thoughts go out to my division rivals, Noon and Gino. I'd like to thank you so much for your poor drafting performance and giving me a clear path into the playoffs this year. I will never, ever not appreciate that from you guys.
Before we go off, though, we have predictions of winners, though. We didn't give a winning prediction, or did we?
Like who's going to win it all?
Yeah, let's go around and say who we think's going to win it all. I guess it'd probably be ourselves, right?
I think I'm going to win it all.
I hope so, Doyle.
I think the Steelers are going to win the Super
I hope
Bowl, and I'm going to win it all.
Finals. That'd be ideal.
Me and go back to back.
Not happening.
I think Connor has a good team. I think the quarterback thing is huge this year. If his two quarterbacks stay healthy and he has enough wins to manage that, his quarterbacks being off and win those matchups, then he's winning it all.
Well, yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on. This has been actually a lot more fun than I'd anticipated. It was a good time.
Oh yeah, I think it was great, and I'm actually going to try to get this out tonight because I think the streets need this content. People have been clamoring for a pod. I think it's going to cause some controversy. People are going to get upset, but just remember, guys, it's our opinion.
Yep, like they say, third
I
time's
think we're pretty fair.
Yep.
Third time's a charm. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, boys, take it, sleaze.
Right. Hell to Pitt.